Somebody said in the comment section, I need to go away. I'm tired of doing these dishes. Same girl, same. Hey guys, it's Mina here and welcome back to another video. So today we're gonna do the pros and cons of staying home for college part 2. This is probably one of my highest viewed videos on my channel, and I'm really glad that I was able to help a lot of people in the comment section because a lot of people didn't know what to do. And I know that it's August and some people have already, placed their housing deposit or already know what they want to do. So it might be a little late, but it's fine because this is for everybody at any point in time. And you can always move to on campus in the spring semester as well. So, well, depending on the school. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, so I have my list here. I think this video is gonna be like the pros and cons of staying home for college. Yes, okay. So we're going to first start with the cons. So first I would say is not having a lot of alone time or like free time. And I say this because you are at home where you have responsibilities, you have your family around, you got your pets, you have the outside world, around you, and you're not on campus within this little bubble. So when you don't really have a lot of free time to yourself, it's because, somebody's always home. Like, for example, when I went to school, it was really rare, and even now, it's really rare to not have anybody home. And if somebody's not home, it's usually for a couple hours, no more than 3 or 4 hours. So I never really get alone time or myself time. But at the same, and then so I never really get my alone time, my free time, my relaxed time, my downtime, because there's constantly people in the house. And I know there's only 4 of us in the house right now. I only live with one of my siblings, but for the most part, she's always home. So it's I'm always home with somebody. I'm never alone. And it's sometimes I just want to be by myself. In all honesty, sometimes I just want to be by myself. I want to have my own vibe. I don't want to worry about who's in the kitchen or what to eat or what to cook. It's just a vibe being by yourself. So yeah. And you're always around your family and stuff like that. So it's just kind of ugh, sometimes I just wish I was by myself. All right, number 2, having to do chores. I think I said this in the first video, but again, you do live in your parents' house, so a lot of things are expected from you. You might have to do the dishes, you take out the trash, walk the dog, clean everywhere in the house, because one thing parents love saying is, this is my house. But when it's time to clean, it's our house. And I just find that funny. I just find that absolutely hilarious that it's suddenly our house when it's time for somebody to do the dishes or mow the lawn or take out the trash. It's our house. So you're always being told what to do. And it's okay, that's fine, you live in your parents' house, but it's sometimes if you're doing homework, your parent might ask you to do something and you're oh, I'm doing homework, and they're just no, it's fine, just do what you want, do what I need you to do now. And it's kind of dang, they really don't respect me. I'm trying to get straight A's, be a doctor, future astronaut, and you don't respect me. So yeah. I mean, I'm fine doing chores and stuff. I just hate in the middle of me doing homework or studying, I'm just told to do something. And it's really annoying because it's I really want to do my best in this class. And especially if you're struggling with it and you really need time and you're constantly being told to do things, it can get really annoying. Mental health. I think that one speaks for itself. But, we're gonna talk about it a little bit. Your mental health is really important, and especially that we live in a time where now everyone's recognizing that they may need to talk to someone, relax their mind, because I'm not gonna lie, school is very overwhelming, especially if what you decided to major in is very difficult and it's time consuming. your mental health at that point when you're focusing on school is really important, because you know you want to have the positive mindset. You want to go in tackling your homework like, I can do this. This isn't overwhelming. This isn't too much for me. Like, I am able to do this. And that's why your mental health is really important when it comes to school. So when you're at home and going back to, you know, being told to do things all the time, or, you know, having such a high expectation from your parents, and especially coming from an immigrant household, my parents came from the Caribbean, it's like I have this weight on my shoulders to be like basically perfect, and it's going to be really hard. And then it's going to be really hard. It's going to take a toll on your mental health, and you know, sometimes being at home is not really great for your mental health in terms of certain things. Again, like I said, going back to what I said in the last video, your family dynamics, your mental health is really important. So sometimes being home is not the best thing. Sometimes having your own space and your own environment where you can be yourself and you can take the time and relax and not having all these distractions around you, sometimes that's the best for your mental health. Yes. Another con of staying home, I would say not being able to find your identity 100%. You know, when you're going to school, these are the times, you're being alone, these are the times to find yourself, who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you accept, what you don't accept, like what you don't tolerate from people. It's the time for you to become an individual person, to be who you are. And, you know, sometimes at home, you're a different person at home than you are, like, around everybody else. And I am one of those people. I am very different at home at home rather than when I'm out into the real world. I mean, I'm myself at core, like, you know, myself, but, you know, sometimes it's just not the same. It's not the same. So it's really, I think, like, it's a good thing going away for school, because then you develop as your own person. You don't take on the habits of your parents. You're not doing what they're, you know, sometimes you do things that they don't want to do that may benefit you. How do I explain this? It's kind of like how Caribbean parents, you have only 3 options, I think 4, maybe 3. You can either be a doctor, a nurse, an engineer, or a lawyer. Yeah, 4. So that's basically all you can be. Those are the only options that are given to you. So when you're not in your parents' household, I think you'll figure out what you want to do in life. Again, God created us, each and every one of us, to do something special on this earth. And if you're doing something that, you know, God doesn't want you to do, or not God's purpose, it may really hurt you in the long run, because then you don't know who you are and you can't figure out what you want and what you don't want, and, you know, what God's purpose is for you, because you're listening to your parents and you want to please them. So it may be really hard. Wow, I really think this is a good one. Sorry. But yeah, I think it's really important to find your identity when, you know, you're not home. Another con is, I would say, not wanting to figure things out for yourself. I think this could be pro and con, because when you're at home, you're gonna be independent. You're gonna be dependent of your parent because you're at home. I cannot tell you how many bags I have fumbled because of being home. One, like, again, like my freshman year of college, like the first 2 years of college, actually, I had 2 jobs. I was juggling 2 jobs and I was going to school full time. So, but the thing is, I kept spending the money, because I knew deep down that if I needed something, like if I really did, I can just always ask my parents. Like, I wouldn't have to pay for it. And I felt like that really kind of hindered my independence, because I always knew that I had them to fall back on. But at the same time, my dad raised all of us to, like, basically be independent, be able to do your own thing and figure things out. Like, there were so many times where I would have a question of something and my dad would be like, figure it out. Not that my dad was like a bad guy in that sense, but he always did that to teach us that we shouldn't be reliant on him, my mom, or anybody else. So, oh gosh, spam callers. So, to not be dependent on anybody else and to always try to figure things out on our own. And, ooh, going back to like being dependent on your family, I feel like staying home kind of like hurts you in that way. But at the same time, depending on you, you may want to be like completely independent right away. That's great for you. That's awesome. But like, I guess for me, I just always knew that I had to fall back. And depending on who you are as a person, again, you may find yourself in the same boat. All right. And I think my last con for staying at home is boundaries. Oh, we're gonna have a great talk about this one. Okay, so like I said earlier, you kind of learn who you are as a person, what you like, what you don't like, what you tolerate, what you don't tolerate. And I feel like boundaries at home are kind of like non-existent, again, depending on your household dynamics. Because, you know, sometimes my parents just walk into my door, like don't even knock, just walk right in. So that's another boundary broken. Or sometimes they'll talk to you in a certain way or tone that, you know, you don't really like, but you can't really say anything because they're your parents, and you know, you don't want to be disrespectful, or in Caribbean household, it is disrespectful to state your opinion. So then your boundaries are kind of like non-existent. For me specifically, because of the non-boundary exercise, I am a people pleaser, and I will do basically anything that is asked for me. And it's really hard to say no because I haven't really been fully able to exercise my boundaries. Now at this grown age of almost 24, I realize that that's not the best thing, and now I'm trying to exercise my boundaries more. I'm trying to say no to things that I do not want to do and do not want to commit to. Like it's very hard, like it's extremely hard. But you know, at the long run, it will be better that you have exercised your boundaries. And I feel like going to school and being on your own and having to stick up for yourself and speak your mind, that exercising your boundaries at this age is really crucial, because you don't want to let people walk all over you. You don't want to let people speak to you in any way, shape, or form. You know, you want to set your boundaries, and I think that's why staying at home kind of will hurt that a little bit. So yeah, that was my little spiel. Okay, now let's move on to the pros of staying at home. So a lot of people in the comment section mentioned that it is really expensive staying on dorms. And yes, it is. So, oh, I didn't mention that in the beginning of the video. Anyway, halfway through midterm, I finally, after like 5 years of applying, got into nursing school. I'm super excited about that. I will be attending school in my home state, Boston, my home state, Massachusetts, but in my home city, Boston, and I'm super excited about that. But it is very expensive, like extremely expensive. So like one of the comments people were worried about was loans and having to pay that back, and I didn't realize how great I had it undergrad when I had all my parents paying for all my stuff. So, you know, money is a really big factor, especially if you are on your own, like this time around, like I am. I mean, my parents will still help me, but for the most part, I'm on my own. So that's something you really do have to weigh in, but some people do not get the double chance that I did. Like I stayed home for undergrad, but I'm going away for grad, or for my second bachelor's degree. So some people may not have that option. So I would say like the happy middle of doing that, because things are expensive, probably, you know, stay home your first 2 years and then move on campus your last 2. I think that will save so much money, and I think that you will be able to have the best of both worlds and the best of both experiences, so you don't really feel that you have missed out on that college experience like I did. Cool. All right, so next, so yeah, starting with the pros. The pros is you can do your self-care routine to the nines, all right? So because you are in your own room, your own space, your own bathroom, your own home, you are able to pamper yourself, do what you want at your own time. You don't really have to like travel too far in terms, because like on campus, you're kind of like in a community where it's like hard probably to go out and do these things. But like when you're at home, you have your own stuff, your own soaps, your own teas. Like you can do anything. You can relax at your own leisure and not have to be, this is gonna sound like rude, but you don't have to be considerate of a roommate or your roommates because you're doing things at your own time. You're in your own house. Like if I wanna go outside, into the hot tub and like chill and watch movies, like I can. If I wanna stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning watching movies and being loud, I can, because I have my own room, I have my own space, and I don't really have to be considerate of anybody else. And wow, I sound really passionate about that, but it's kind of like, it's rude, but it's kind of true. So, you know, having your own space like really helps in that, and like taking care of yourself, doing your face mask, doing your hair routine, like you don't gotta worry too much. All right, so next for pros, you have your support system right then and there. Yes, there's FaceTime, there's Zoom, there's WhatsApp, but you know, having your family around as your support system really helps. And like, you know, when you're like crying, when you're upset, again, depending on your family dynamics, your family is able to be there and to cheer you on, tell you that they love you, that they support you. And you know, if you want to take a mental health day, if you want to take a break for a day or two, like it's totally fine. They're there to recuperate you so that you can do what you know what you can do. So having that support system there is, I think, really, really great. Getting into the real world faster. So I feel like this is a pro and con, and it's like this one's kind of like a weird topic. I don't know where to really place this one. Like I feel like if you go into camp, like you go onto campus, you move onto campus and you're like on your own for a little bit, I feel that does show you what the real world is like, but at the same time it keeps you in a little bubble of the school because you don't really go out much. I felt that being undergrad at that point, because I was on campus but I was also going wherever, like in terms of work or other opportunities or extracurriculars, that I was introduced into the real world a lot quicker. I like to use this example because you know how there's like that meme where it's like, oh, why is my mom not, you know, making my doctor's appointments, my dentist appointments? Like, mom, why would you do this? I think that's really true, because I think it was like when I was like 18, 19, yeah, when you go to college, that I started doing all that stuff on my own. Like I started making my doctor's appointments, I started figuring out what like shots and stuff that I needed, I started going to my dentist appointments, like I was able to schedule my whole bonding, like, you know, do everything. Like I was able to start doing everything on my own. And like I mentioned earlier, my dad is the type of guy to be like, okay, figure it out, like I'll help you, but go and figure it out. And I think that really helped, because at least I know how things work. And especially with my car, because I lease my car and I like don't know everything about cars, but this whole process, and especially my dad like helping me just only a little bit, I think it really helped me understand like what leasings are, what APRs are, like what credit does. Like I think that I really had I have a good grasp on that stuff now, because I was kind of like thrown into the real world just a little bit earlier, because I wasn't in the bubble of school. So responsibilities, you know, yeah, that goes back, you know, figuring out your responsibilities, what you have to do as a person, as an adult, as you grow and stuff like that. I think that being at home, it gives you a little bit more responsibilities, rather than when you're at school, your only responsibility is school. Learning to be on your own in terms of like bills and finances. Again, depending on your family dynamic, if you do like live alone, like if you like at 18, if you do decide to move out of your parents' house, like you learn bills, you learn how to do all of that stuff. I was lucky enough to be at home, but you know, you learn how to do all that stuff and to be independent of, you know, yourself. And I would say, so next is limited distractions. So again, this one's one where it can go on both sides, a pro and a con. So staying at home, it does cause a lot of distractions. Like I said earlier, you might be told to do chores or told to do like a whole bunch of different stuff that you may not want to. But also being at school, it can be a distraction because depending on who you are as a person, you might think that going to this party or hanging out with your friends is just a little bit more important than doing this homework assignment that's due at 11:59. We've all been there. But you know, it's kind of who you are, and you need to know who you are before making that decision, because like your school is important. That's why you go there. That's what, you know, you're essentially paying for, and you don't want to waste your money. You don't want to retake classes. Like, you really do want to take this seriously, but you also do want to have fun. So you also have to evaluate yourself as a person, because you can have distractions at home with your family and everything else going on around you, but you know, when you're in this new environment and you want to have fun, you're not under the thumb of your parents, you have to be disciplined in that way too. So yeah, let's see, and I think lastly was health. Again, like I said in the last video, when I would come home to home cooked meals, and I knew it was knew it was healthy because it wasn't like deep fried or anything. So, you know, at school campuses, I think they are trying to make healthier options for students and stuff like that. But at the same time, you still don't know what they're putting in their food. But at home, when you have home cooked meals, you get to choose what you eat. You get to go to the market. But for students who do have campus apartments, like I will have an on-campus apartment, so it's gonna be like 4 of us. We have a kitchen and a living room, 2 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms. Like, I am able to go to the market, I'm able to supply my own food. I don't have to eat on campus, rather than other students who just have like 2 beds and maybe a communal kitchen, but who really wants to commute, like who really wants to cook in a communal kitchen when you can just go to the cafeteria. So I think that health is really important in terms of what you eat, and going to the gym. There's a gym on the outside world, like if you go to the gym, or there's a gym on campus. You might be more inclined to go to the gym on campus because it's right there. I think that's what's gonna happen to me. But you know, your health is really important, especially when this is the most crucial time of your life. Like, you're in your early 20s, this is when you start developing habits that lead you to the person who you are. So your mental health is important, your health is important, and who you are as a person is really. So yeah. Alright guys, so there will be definitely a part 3, because since I will be able to experience both staying home and going away for college, I will be able to give a real 100% authentic summary of what I personally think. So that'll probably be like 3 or 4 months into the semester or something like that. So if you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. Like, share with people who don't know what they want to do and what they may want to do, you know. Yeah, so like, share, comment, and definitely subscribe so that I can get more things. Wait, what? So I can get more things out to people who want more information about stuff. And also comment what you want to see more of this channel. I do a lot of godly stuff, and because that's what I'm passionate about, but I also do want to share real life experiences and stuff like that from a young Christian woman's perspective. So like, comment, subscribe, share, and yeah, bye. See you all next time.